When the coronavirus epidemic started hitting Europe, we started hearing stories of people going into the supermarkets and into the retail shops, and they are hoarding things, and of all things that they will hoard will be toilet paper. And one wonders, why in the world do you want to hoard toilet paper? Anyway, you would rather hoard something else, but that's besides the point. My point is that at times when people are afraid of the future, they start hoarding things and they start keeping things close to their chest, so that when the times of emergency come, they at least have some cushion of time that they can be able to use, so that they will not run out of options. And that's the operative word, running out of options. But interestingly enough, there is also the aspect of hoarding success, the aspect of hoarding creativity, hoarding productivity. And that's what I want to discuss in this episode today, even as we're talking about re-entry. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Alright, let's talk about re-entry. We've been discussing this subject, and we've been saying that for those people who are productive, those people who are visionaries, and you're championing some things, there comes a time in your life where you hit a low, not because you failed, but because you've come down from a high. You've been operating on an adrenaline, on a high octane speed, high octane productivity level, and you've been charged. Your enthusiasm has been there, your excitement has been there, your mind is there, your body is there, your spirit is there. You are so passionate about what you're doing, and you expend your energy and you triumph and you have this victory, and then you come down back to normal, where you're no longer expending energy as you used to when you're doing that project. That is what I call re-entry. Because if you don't take care of the re-entry, chances are that you'll start feeling desperation, you start feeling this foreboding, you start feeling this irritability coming into your life, threatening to mess you up, and threatening to mess the victory that you've just had one way or another. And that's why we've said it is important for you to consider, how are you going to handle the re-entry? A case in point is Neil Armstrong. Everyone knows about Neil Armstrong, and I spoke about him in the previous episode. Neil Armstrong goes to the moon, the very first man on the moon. What does he do on the moon? Whatever he does there, but he comes back. Will you come back to the surface of the earth to do what? You've been in space. You've accomplished a mighty thing. Since Adam was created, you're the first man to go into the space and step on the moon. And then you come back. That's the typical example, a classic example of re-entry. What do you do? What do you do when you've hit a serious high in your life, and now it's no longer operating? You've won a marathon, you've won a championship. Okay, let me just use an example of this team called Arsenal. There is no team in the entire universe in this century that has gone for a whole season unbeaten. And these guys, Arsenal, they did this in the year 2003 and 2004. They went through 30 plus matches without being beaten. They were just drawing and winning, drawing and winning, drawing and winning. And they were never beaten until they won the trophy. But that's beside the point. The point is this. their manager, I heard him being interviewed, or maybe I read it somewhere. He said that after they clinched the title before the league was finished, which means that they had some matches to play. The idea in the mind of the coach was for these people to finish that season unbeaten. And you see, they had already arrived, they'd already gotten their trophy. Everyone is fighting for the trophy. No one has ever gone into the league to fight for being unbeaten, to fight for a winning streak. But these guys have already the trophy. They're now back on earth. What happens? There's a second high that they need to hit, and this is the unbeaten run. And he said that at least one of the most difficult things that he ever did was to manage these guys and motivate them to go on and win the unbeaten run in that league in that year. And they actually did. That's exactly what I'm talking about, reentry. If you don't manage reentry, if the manager was not able to manage that reentry properly, probably Arsenal would have just, say that, hi, we already have the trophy. Why would we need to continue clobbering people and drawing with people and so on? I mean, we already have the trophy. That's exactly what re-entry can do for you. It can create some kind of apathy in that you already have the victory. Why should you want to expend more energy? And sometimes that victory comes and then it wanes off, and then the re-entry tells you that probably you're useless. What is it that you are doing? And you're now missing that high that you had. So that's why we said it's important for you to manage re-entry. And we've said re-entry is not something that happens once in a while. It's something that can actually happen to you occasionally, can happen to you during the week, can happen to you during the month, can happen to you in a yearly basis, and so on and so forth. So we need to learn how to manage re-entry. That means that we are managing the coming back from a high, the coming back from finishing, coming back from victory, coming back from a triumph. Remember when I told you the story of the Roman conqueror? This Roman soldier, this Roman captain comes into the arena, and someone is shouting. I mean, he's conquered, and these guys that he's conquered are in chains and they're wobbling, walking before him. And there's someone who is whispering at the ear of the captain, the glory is fading, the glory is fading, the glory is fading. Why were they doing that? Because they knew that sooner or later, the aura of the victory, the aura of the invincibility, the aura of the triumph of war is going to fade away. And what are you going to be left with? You're going to be left with reality. That's exactly normally what happens when it comes to the field of success. So we say that it's important for us to do several things. The first thing we said it's important for you to do is to take some time and rest. I mean, take some vacation out of it. We say that if some guys in your company have done something major, a project they are pulled off, give them a break. Don't wait until the end of the year, until they're qualifying for annual leave. Just let them go. I mean, recoup, re-energize, recuperate, recharge themselves, renew, refresh, and come back. Start building the momentum once again. That's how you deal with re-entry. The other way we say that you can deal with the re-entry is through detachment. You detach yourself from being involved in that thing, in that you've done your part and you're not a control freak anymore. Let the victory coast around by itself. Let the project take its own shape without you micromanaging things, because a micromanager has not necessarily released the thing, the victory that he has already found. And you're still being involved with it, still being passionate with it. That's not letting go. A mother needs to let go of the daughter when the daughter is leaving the house to go into someone else's house to get married. The same thing with the son. I mean, we need to do these things of detachment in several areas, especially detachment after you have succeeded. We've said that one of the worst things is to face a heartbreak and not have the strength to move on. But we also said that the same thing happens with success. Having success and not having the strength to move on to another success, just like Arsenal. That is what we need to do. We need to have detachment coming into our lives so we can deal with that thing. And then yesterday we talked about isolation, making sure that this success you're having is not the only one. You're not a one-hit wonder. you basically are treating success in form of a continuity, and every success that you have is like a rung to you, for you to climb on and build on to it, so that you can have the next success, and so on and so forth. So you don't isolate this success that you've had as if it's the only thing that is there to be done. No, you keep doing what you need to keep doing until it is done. So success is treated in continuity. If you do that, you'll be able to deal with your re-entry, knowing that there's something else. And today I'm going to build on to that and talk about something else. How can you be able to deal with the re-entry? And remember, re-entry, we're saying, is this foreboding feeling that you're having where you're missing the success that you've just achieved. You're missing the triumph. You're missing the arena. You're missing to stand and the crowds are shouting your name and the cameras are rolling. You're missing that adrenaline that is coming to you when you are winning something, when you're having triumph. What do? The re-entry is just coming. The re-entry is introducing you into reality. The thing that you need to do in your mind, number 4, is to trust yourself. Because the very guy who won that victory is the very guy who is able to champion another victory. That's why in the podcast at the beginning I talked about holding. Sometimes we do not want to let go of the things that we have in our hands, especially in the field of success. And by the way, some people do not want to even expand the options that they have, thinking that if I expend this is the only option that I have, this is the only idea of the article that I have. If I write this article, I'm not going to have another idea. It's not going to come anymore. And so you hold on to this idea that you've been having. You're not trusting yourself to do what you can do in the moment, and let the universe, let ideas come to you as you go. And you see, you need to trust yourself to such an extent that you know that the more you expend an idea, the more you victor, the more you go out and have victory, the more you're going to have an opportunity to get another idea and another go again, so that you can have another victory and another success, and the cycle keeps repeating itself. But it's not that easy. Sometimes some of these things that we normally have, they don't come easily, and so we think that book idea, man, I did a bestseller. Will I ever be able to do another bestseller? That's where the detachment I talked about comes in. That's where the isolation that I talked about yesterday comes in. And today I'm talking about trusting yourself, trusting the fact that you can have another idea. See, there is another book in you if you've done the book. There is another article in you if you've done the article. There is another episode if you've done the episode on the podcast. There is another high that is in you. The same way you created this high that you've just celebrated is the same way that you can create just about another high. There is one more masterpiece left in you immediately after you've deployed this masterpiece. So trust yourself and release the victory, celebrate the victory and release it, and immediately start looking forward to another. And don't pressurize yourself feeling like you'll never match up to what you just accomplished, that I have set a standard so high I cannot be able to beat it. Listen, you can always be better, good, better, best. Do not let it rest until the good is better and the better is best. There is always something inside of you. You see, if you finished your work on the face of the earth, you're not needed on the face of the earth anymore. But as long as you're still alive, as long as you're still breathing in and breathing out, it means you're still needed. It means there's still one more thing that you can do the same as you did the other one. If you're unbeaten, you can be unbeaten again. That's where the power of potential comes in. Let me tell you something about potential. Potential is inexhaustible. There is no one that I know that has ever fulfilled his potential to the fullest. Okay, I know there's some people, few people that we've read about in history and in scriptures, who have gone all the way and they have done wonderful things, and they have done so well that they just transition into the next life. They just die, and they die at a ripe old age. We're normally told that. And I can tell you this, that there is no single person apart from Jesus Christ who can actually say that I did everything that I was supposed to do 100% and I fulfilled my potential to the fullest. That is a good thing to say, and it's also a bad thing to say. It's a good thing to say because it tells you that you can always do something once you've done something. You can always excel again once you've excelled, and so on. So learn to trust yourself. There is much more where the previous masterpiece came from. You can trust yourself. See, if you can trust yourself, then you can know that you can do it again. And this lessens the pressure on you, and you can now be able to deal with the re-entry amicably well. It is important for you to do that. It is important for you to trust yourself that you can do it again. There is another thing inside of you. There is potential inside of you. You've not expended this potential. So move on, detach yourself, get some rest, trust yourself, and launch back. Chances are, by the way, that the next thing you're going to do will be even much greater than the previous. Why do I know that? I know that because God deals with us through glories. God doesn't, every succeeding generation is actually supposed to be greater than the previous. Glory to glory to glory to glory. And we cannot have the next glory if you haven't trusted yourself to have it. So learn to trust yourself. Well, until tomorrow, where we'll discuss one more. Bye-bye. A special shout out to my mentor, Jeffrey Howard of Visionary Business University, found at mastermindmentor.com, who has graciously provided me with the soundtrack and the introductory track to this podcast. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.